Ben, and my graffiti name is Iron, and that's one of my paintings. I did this painting during the day. It took about 4 days to do it, and yeah, we're up and down ladders and cherry picker. And yeah, no, I didn't have any problems. Nobody stopped me.
Technically, Ben broke the law with this painting, although he did get permission from his friend who's renting the space. Much of his stuff, however, gets painted over.
It's nice to cycle to work and see one of your paintings, but, you know, they don't last.
In the UK, as in many countries around the world, graffiti is a crime, costing around $2 billion a year to remove. Most of it is just tagging. But clean-up costs aren't the only costs associated with graffiti these days, especially when it comes to one of Britain's most celebrated street artists, Banksy, who's made a name and, more recently, a fortune for himself with dark-humoured, politically referenced graffiti.
They'd make you smile on a grey day. They are graphic art, which has always been popular with people, you know, primary colours and one-liners, really, which are immediately accessible.
But though Banksy may have started as an underground rebel, here's some of his work in a central London gallery in an exhibition which compares his art to that of Andy Warhol. Though the artist himself may remain anonymous, interest in his work is spreading far and wide.
Banksy has this new audience, an audience that have really got to know his work online and in print rather than seeing it up close in museums. So it's a brand new type of audience, and it's extremely loyal.
Such is the demand for Banksy these days that prices have skyrocketed. His work regularly fetches tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. One sold for $576,000 in April. Ben, who's a friend of Banksy's, says off the back of this, his work is beginning to get popular too. His first show has just opened at a gallery in Shoreditch in London's East End.
It's the same kind of stuff that I do on the street, but of a higher standard. Neater, sharper, you know, a little bit more luxurious.
Meanwhile, just up the road, Eleanor Forster is helping other artists make the leap from street to gallery.
I'm quite eclectic. I don't like to be pigeonholed as a street gallery, a street art gallery. That's not what I am. I represent people who I think are technically or conceptually excellent and that I really enjoy their work and working with them. But a lot of the artists that are sort of caught up in this movement aren't necessarily previously graffiti artists. It's just an element of graphic art coming into it.
Andrew McCatty started off as a graffiti writer, but he's also a trained artist.
I don't try to deny my background simply because I'm not ashamed of it. But at the same time, I'm not trying to pretend that I didn't, for instance, go to art school. So it's a kind of real mixture of the two.
His theory on the surging interest in graffiti-influenced work is because it's relevant.
Nowadays, the idea of seeing tags everywhere isn't offensive. To lots of people from an urban environment, it's just part of their landscape.
And if you ever wanted to meet someone further from the image of a graffiti writer as a lout bent on mindless vandalism, here's Zenz.
Well, for many years as a graffiti artist, I'd always create the backgrounds for the traditional lettering artists and the characters. I'm an aerosol artist. I take people on a journey. I like to, it's like a dream state. I never actually touched the surface of the canvas. What you're seeing here is me painting what inspires me. I've got like gardens in the clouds, castles in the sky, you know, all these sort of impossible sort of things that can't happen. It's a dream. That's what it is. That's why I paint.
As far as earning money from his dream, this canvas sold for around $12,000. Just don't ask him to think about that as he's painting.
Well, I could be like, oh, I better take care of it then. It's more expensive than my trainers, it's more expensive than the rented flat I'm in, you know. I'm not trying to do it to be some rock star, you know. It's just, it's a beautiful piece that I'm making, yeah, but I don't actually make it to sell it.
But as wealthy art collectors run out of blue-chip art to buy and street art fills the void, prices are soaring. Graffiti artists are going to have to become a little more comfortable with capitalism.